What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to show you the 3 most common adjustments that you can make on a cabinet door to make sure that it closes properly and that it's all lined up perfectly. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. So we've got a cabinet door here that's rubbing on the door next to it, not allowing it to close. You can see this one here is sitting lower than the one next to it. And if we have a look at our spacing here, it's a lot larger up the top than it is down the bottom. So I'm going to show you the 3 most common adjustments, and they're all going to be made right here on our top and bottom hinge for our cabinet door. So the first thing we're going to work on is allowing our door to close without rubbing on the door next to it. Remembering that we did notice there was a larger gap here on the left hand side compared to the bottom. So we know that our spacing needs to be roughly about 2 to 3 millimeters. However, as we come up to the top here, it's fairly large. So we're going to work on our top left hinge firstly. If we have a look inside, we've got 2 adjustment screws here. We've got one on the front and one on the back. Now the one on the back allows your door to move in and out, and this one right here allows your door to move left and right. So at the moment we know that our door needs to shift over to the left in order to open up our gap up here to prevent it from hitting the top of the door next to it, and also that will close our gap up here. So we're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and we're going to work on this front screw here. If we turn this one here over to the right, you'll notice the door will start to shift. You can see there it's moving in towards the wall. So we've closed that one up just a bit. We'll close the door and test it. It's looking much better there. We might give it just one more turn or even half a turn. Alright, that spacing is now looking very, very nice. If we have a look on the left hand side, that gap is now perfectly consistent. Our door is closing. However, if you notice there, the door actually springs back and isn't actually closing properly flush with the door next to it. So we're going to work on the next adjustment now. The next adjustment, remembering this back one here, allows the whole door to move in and out. Now if we look at it once again, you can hear that the top isn't actually touching the carcass at the back, which tells me that this side here is actually causing a little bit of tension or having a bit of binding on the back side, which is causing the door to spring back. So what we're going to do is we're going to release that tension on this side of the door by simply allowing the door to move out just a little bit. Once again, we're going to come back to our hinge here. We're going to work on that back screw right here because this one here will allow it to move in and out. So we're going to turn this one here to the left, and you can see the door slowly shifting there. We'll leave that at half an adjustment. And you can hear it touch the carcass now. That's exactly what we're after. So the last thing we're going to work on is our height here. You can see that this door is a little bit lower than this door here. If we come down to the bottom, this door here has dropped a bit compared to this side here. So what we're going to do in this case here is we're going to work on the hinges once again, and we're going to raise this door up in order to marry up with the door that's next to it. The way we do this is if we open it up once again, we've got a hinge on the top and a hinge on the bottom. And you can see we've got our screws right here. And you can see there's actually a bit of space there under the screw. So that means we've got a bit of play in it. What we do is we loosen off these screws just a little bit in order to allow it to slide up and down. We'll do the same thing down here. A little bit hard to see that bottom screw. So now that we've got the screws loose on the bottom and top hinge, we can actually play with this position of the door now by simply lifting it up and down in order to raise or lower the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up just halfway, and I'm going to tighten this up in this position here, and then we'll test out the door and see if that's enough. If not, we might need to lift the door up just a little bit more. So at the moment I might just tighten up that top screw, test out our door, and it still needs to go up. So we're going to loosen this one here off once again. Lift up the door all the way. And then we'll tighten this one here up again. Close the door. And that's looking much, much better. So now we can tighten up these screws once again because we're happy with that final position. We're going to close the door and check and make sure we're happy with everything. So that's now perfectly lined up with the door next to it. Our gap and our spacing is consistent between both doors and also on the edge here. We've got absolutely no rubbing. Soft close is working perfect. And that's now tapping on the back of the carcass, letting me know that everything's lined up perfectly. Hopefully this video has helped you guys out and you've enjoyed the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.